Hello, my name is Eliseo Rodriguez, and I am working with the Sharepoint site over here on the Escondido La Mesa side. I want to take a little bit of your time, if you don't mind, to talk about Sharepoint and Dropbox and what we're doing. So, to begin with, I know that you guys are using Salesforce as your main sales workflow connection engine, and I used to be in sales and I use Salesforce, and it's very important. And SharePoint is not trying to replace Salesforce. It can, but Salesforce is a good software. I mean, it does a great job on what it's supposed to do. Essentially, SharePoint is built more for the processing side and document management and document retention and sharing and all of that stuff. So it's more geared towards sharing files, managing files, that kind of stuff. So it does a good job on its own doing that. And so that's why I'm saying that it's not meant to be a replacement for Salesforce. It's meant to be a Salesforce type product for the processing. So all of the tasking and all of that kind of stuff is essentially there for your processors. So we're going to be looking at SharePoint. We've got a new SharePoint coming out at the end of the year, SharePoint 2016, and we'll automatically get upgraded to it because we're online. So most companies that have it on their own private servers have to upgrade, have to pay for it, have all of this stuff. But having it Office online, Office 365 online, Enterprise is way easier, way better. And then of course, Dropbox, and don't have to go too much into that. Similar features between Dropbox and SharePoint. Number one, all devices. You can use them on all devices. No problem there. We understand that. Sharing. Both of them share documents, share files, share securely, right? Obviously, security is important depending on what you have for Dropbox. I don't think that the personal Dropbox is secure as the business Dropbox, which is compliant, which needs to be, obviously the stuff that we're using has federally regulated rules on how we're supposed to handle that documentation and keep people from getting it. So that's what we have here. So SharePoint differences, though. Here's where we're going to leave Dropbox and start talking about SharePoint and what it does. Different. Number one, versioning. So we can keep, let's say, a 1003 and keep up to however many we want. We could keep 500 copies of the every different version of the 1003. So when they add something, subtract something, it will keep those versions together. It'll actually record who changed them, what time, and they could even leave a note why they changed it. Then you have co-authoring, where you can work on the same document at the same time, kind of like you can do with OneNote. You can do that with any document online. The web authoring tools, obviously you have you have all the Office products online available to you. When, if you're out of pocket and you don't actually have your own computer, or your computer's down and you need to get something done, you can go to any computer and sign in and have your Office documents there. No problem. No matter where you're at in the world, you'll always be able to get your Office, Word, Excel fired up. You can get all of that fired up online, and you can have all of your documents available to you from the SharePoint site. Metadata, you can make your documents very easy to find by attaching words, keywords, that kind of stuff to your documents to help them find. The SharePoint site, obviously, you can have the search engine to take care of all of that stuff and find stuff for you. Workflows, and this is one of the most important parts of SharePoint, is that workflows are going to help your processing team, your LOAs, stay on task. So what happens is that every step of the loan process has been automated, and as soon as one person does something, as soon as you enter the loan, it's going to start a process. And, it's like disclose the loan. You need to disclose the loan within 3 days. And it gives them a task, and it sends them an email, and it shows up in the calendar, and it expects them to do that, or it'll start repeating the task. And so if you do this for 30 loans, 18, 20 loans, you have to have organization. You have to know, what am I doing on this loan today? Where am I at on this loan today? And keep that organized. And so what this workflow does is it keeps you organized. I mean, you're going to know what you need to do next. How long has it been there? Are you behind? Are you behind on the due date? And you can prioritize easier because the program itself is helping you prioritize. So that's going to help your people stay on task, not get drowned with all the loans, not get drowned with just all the chaos and not being able to have everything organized as well. This is going to help that process. Workflows, just like you have in Salesforce. So then content approval. This is not something you necessarily work, but if you have let's say a policy change and you guys all need to approve it before it goes out and gets published, then that's what it does. We need to approve this before we publish it. Is this good? Is this okay? Is this acceptable? Yes. Okay. Then you have picture information that you can have, all of the geodata, all of the everything for that, but we don't really use this part of it, but it has that capability. Then you have social interactions, Facebook, following, liking, commenting. You have like chatter in the Salesforce, in the SharePoint site. In every single SharePoint site, we can put them anywhere we want to. It's essentially a social network for your company. And then on top of that, we have Skype for Business, which is essentially Link and Skype put together in one, and it is the way that you're going to reach out to each other. If you're sending documents through any other medium besides a secure email, people can grab that information. But through Link, or what's now Skype for Business, is going to keep that stuff encrypted and safe, so you can do your business communications, you can share files, you can share your screen and all that other stuff safely and securely. So it's very important. Plus you can do whiteboards and meetings and all that other stuff you guys already know about with Link. So another really important point that we need to make about SharePoint is that SharePoint and Salesforce have recognized how important these two companies are. And so SharePoint and Salesforce have worked together to integrate in a deeper way than any other platform. So Salesforce and SharePoint are so close together that the chatter, your commenting engine in Salesforce, can show up in SharePoint, and y'all can communicate. The processing side and the SharePoint side can communicate with the Salesforce side in one. They can be joined together through the chatter. Excuse me. And so in that way, you can talk to processing through your chatter, and processing can talk to you through their chatter. And so it's seamless. You have your sales side and all of your workflows and all of your contacts and all of your everything that you do on Salesforce side. And chatter then becomes the meeting point where you can go into chatter and start talking to your processing team through chatter. And you don't necessarily have to purchase a license for them in Salesforce, but you're able to talk across these platforms. So that's integrally important. No other platform on this page can do that except for SharePoint. Then obviously, depending on what you get additional on top of the SharePoint or the Link or the Skype for Business, and then you have the integrations with Salesforce. You have all of these apps, all of these programs that you get to use with the Office 365, and then security, the awesome security, and then you have the price, which is the most important thing, I think. Dropbox is $60 a month for 5 people, billed annually, and that's the cheapest way to figure out the number. That's a number that I can get to that's the cheapest. It's actually a little bit more. It's $75 per month if you wanted to pay by month. But I wanted to choose the smallest number because actually SharePoint beats it out by a lot. So $40 a month for 5 users, and it's actually $8 a month per user. I think it's $12 a month under this program, and it's $15 a month under the month-to-month program. So it's still cheaper by person. $8 a month, Dropbox, $12 a month. And you don't get all of these other apps. You don't get all of these, PowerPoint. You don't get Link. You don't get Access. You don't get Excel. You don't get these things in Dropbox. And then you don't get workflows. You don't get to help your people with their method of doing things, with their work, with their tasks, helping them organize and help them keeping up with everything, and then giving yourself as the district manager, as a manager over people, you're able to see when they do things, when they touch something, when they change something. You're able to track their movements and track their work history and see what they're doing, when they're doing, and you're able to actually corroborate their story because you have date timestamps. You have comments. They can leave notes. They can say, there's all of these things that can help you to find out what could be a problem if there was a problem, or if there isn't a problem, and how well they're working, and praise people because of how awesome they're working. So it helps streamline the people and then makes them accountable because they have ways of tracking all their movements and their work and everything else. So then you have the Salesforce connectivity that's unprecedented and exclusive. All of that for a cheaper amount. It's something that is hard to fathom, that something with so much potential and so much ability is going to be cheaper. But SharePoint is growing. It's going to lead the way as far as helping people with their work. So I just want to give you that opportunity to see what we're doing and realize what we're wanting to give to you and to share with you, and no pressure or anything. I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood what we were doing and why we were doing it, and just inviting you to learn about it at least. So and that's it. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask me, ask Trina, and she'll show you the site and all of that. But I just appreciate your time, and I hope I didn't take too much of it. You guys have a good night. Thanks.